On this James the Bike Guy, we're taking a look at the 2020 Specialized Sirrus X 4.0. This is the top-end aluminum version of the Sirrus X, and we're going to go into some of the features and designs, what the Sirrus X is really designed for, as well as find out exactly what it weighs. But before we get started, be sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you can see more videos like this into the future. So the Specialized Sirrus X is a pretty unique and interesting bike, mostly because this bike is designed around having super efficient pedaling, super efficient lightweight bike, but being able to go into some gravel, into some dirt, even light hiking trails if you wanted to. But they don't want you to pay the weight penalty that most dual sport bikes do. Now, this Sirrus X is set up with nice wide 38C tires, but the frame can actually take up to 42C tires. And on the 4.0 here, it's got a couple of tricks up its sleeve that the other bikes do not. And the first would be this FACT carbon fiber fork, but then even more importantly is going to be the Future Shock 1.5. So if you take a look underneath the stem here, that little boot that's right there, that's actually suspension. So on the Sirrus X 4.0 and the carbon versions above, they're all going to come with this Future Shock 1.5. And that's a shock that's going to allow for 20 millimeters of compression at the handlebar. So rather than having the suspension underneath the frame and suspending the whole frame, this is suspending just the rider. And it's going to save quite a bit of weight and allow for a pretty comfortable bike that's going to be lighter and more efficient than, say, a traditional dual sport style bike. The next neat thing here is going to be the 4.0 has a unique frame of the aluminum versions. So you'll notice here, this is what they call their A1SL premium aluminum. So this is going to be the lightweight version. It's got a scalloped head tube here for the Future Shock, which I should mention. You can add 15 millimeters of additional stack to this. It's then going to run through this internally cable routed frame, which is just beautiful to look at. It's got a nice drop stay in the back here. What a drop stay is the top tube down to the seat tube down there. You'll notice that they don't have a direct connection, and that's going to allow for a little additional flex on the frame. You're going to have a threaded bottom bracket down low, and then of course through axles in the front and the rear with 12 by 142 out back, and then 12 by 100 on this FACT carbon fiber fork. Now, another neat thing about the Sirrus X lineup is being more simple and a little bit more off-road focused of the rest of their Sirrus fitness bikes. This one is going to sport a 1x drivetrain. So down here you can see this is running just a single gear up front, and then it's going to have a nice wide range 10-speed out back. So this has the Shimano Deore M6000 rear derailleur, and it's running through this Sunrace 10-speed 11 to 42 cassette, powered through a KMC chain to the front crank, which on this bike is going to have a 40-tooth chain ring. It's going to have forged aluminum arms. Now, another thing to mention is going to be these Specialized Body Geometry Fitness pedals. They're going to be pretty thin in profile, but they do have enough nubs on them that they're going to connect up with a pair of street shoes just fine. Now, shifting is going to be taken care of by this Shimano Deore 10-speed shifter. So the thumb button is going to allow for an easier gear, and then it's going to have an index finger button right there that allows for a harder gear. Now, while we're at it, we should take a look at the brakes here. This is going to be running the Shimano MT 200 brakes. So this has a 200 brake lever. It's got the extended reach lever, which is going to be nice and easy to control with. And then it's going to be set up with these flat mount disc brakes. So you're going to be running a front 160 millimeter rotor with this flat mount brake, and then the same thing's going to happen on the rear of the bike here. We should also take a look at the rack and fender mounts on this bike. So this is going to have a hidden fender mount if you wanted to run specialized mounts. It's also got standard rack and fender mounts on the rear, so you can set up a full-on pannier setup in the back, and then up front you're going to have a spot again for the hidden fender mounts or a traditional fender mount as well. Now these through axles, they are going to be operated by using a 6mm Allen key, so you will need an Allen wrench to take the wheels on and off, but it's a pretty easy endeavor to take care of. The last things to mention here on this bike are going to come to the cockpit. So Specialized is pretty well known for having some very comfortable saddles, and this is no exception. You've got the Specialized body geometry bridge saddle going to 27.2 aluminum seat post. Up front, you're going to run a nice low-rise 31.8 handlebar and then an aluminum stem. So now that we've taken a look at some of the features and designs of this Sirrus X 4.0, let's go ahead and find out what this bike weighs. And the actual weight of the Specialized Sirrus X 4.0 comes in at 23.06 pounds. Well, thanks for watching this video on the Specialized Sirrus X 4.0. Go ahead and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And while you're at it, make sure you leave a thumbs up. It lets me know that you enjoyed the video.